our work on trigonometry, we're going to have a quick summary. So these were the steps that we took to solve problems involving trigonometry when you're finding missing angles and sides. So label the sides, tick the sides needed, choose the sine, cos or tan equation, write it down, substitute in the numbers, rearrange the equation to get x by itself and complete the calculation. So there were two types of situations you could get in when finding a missing side. So that's the first type we did. And this is the second type. So the difference between these is that when you substituted the numbers into the equation, the x ended up being at the top for the first type, and then you just multiplied by that denominator to get x by itself. And for the second type, the x was at the bottom, and there you ended up kind of swapping that denominator with that side, and you ended up doing a division. So this one was a multiplication and this is a division. And then there was also the angle type of problems. So this is where you were given two sides and you were looking for the missing angle, and then you need to get theta by itself by doing the inverse of sine. For this particular one, could be the inverse of cos or tan for other examples. And then finally, this is a mnemonic that you need to remember. So you need to remember this, and you need to remember that these three equations come from this mnemonic. So O is opposite, H is hypotenuse, A is adjacent, and then you know which formula to use after you've labelled the sides. There's lots of different ways you can remember them. You might just remember Sokotoa. It said just how it's spelt. Or one of the ways I learnt it at school was the old QE hospital used to be called Selly Oak back in the day. So I used to remember it at school. Selly Oak Hospital can always handle the occasional accident. And then also some old hairy camels are hairier than others are. So that's another way, and you can find lots of different ones on the internet, but you don't have to remember it like that, so whatever suits you. And finally, it's important to remember that trigonometry can only be used on right angle triangles. So here I have an isosceles triangle, and I know it's isosceles because two of the sides are the same. So there is a missing angle to work out, but to complete this one, I need to find a right angle triangle in there to be able to use trigonometry, because you can only use trig on right angle triangles. So what I would do is split up this isosceles triangle into two equal triangles. I know it doesn't look equal, probably because I haven't drawn it to scale, but I can then redraw the triangle there. So I'm just going to redraw that triangle. Again, it's not to scale, and that doesn't matter. So I would recommend that you redraw things when you're doing exams, just to make the diagrams a bit clearer sometimes. And then I'd follow through my steps and then work out that missing angle there. So I've got enough information to work out that missing angle. So finally, let's just complete this one. Hypotenuse, opposite the angle, adjacent. So I'm going to choose sine, cos or tan by choosing my sides first. A and H. So A and H is to do with cos. So cos theta is A over H. Cos theta is A is 6 over H is 8. Get theta by itself. I'm going to type that into my calculator and then round it to 1 decimal place. So it's shift cos 8 divided by, 6 divided by 8. So that's 41.4 degrees.